But for now I think I will just add in some of these lines for the bandages. So I've got quite a thin pen here. Although I think I want to be doing the lines a bit quicker than that, that's better. You don't want your lines to be too crooked or anything, so quick strokes of the pen. And again, as I say, with a lot of these things, like bandages, clothing, stuff like that, doesn't need to be too well thought out. It just needs to, you know, look natural and have a lot of detail. So lots of lines, and pretty much that's it. Alright, so I've added the lines there, and I think what I'll do here is go over it with the grey colour, and then I'll see how that looks, and I might just leave it like that, or like I said, I may go in afterwards with a kind of skin tone colour. So we'll see how it looks to begin with. Alright, so as you can see, I've gone through quite a lot of detail there, but I didn't feel like showing all of it because it would have been like, alright, I'm doing this now and then time lapse. But basically, I've just gone over it in grey. The actual colour on the cover is kind of, it's a kind of brownish grey, which this kind of is. But I think I'll just leave it like this because it's pretty similar, and I don't want to go in with like another colour now and end up like ruining it or something. So I think this is about good. If I start adding some of the detail anyway, that'll help. This is kind of like a bit of calf definition here, and then like the front of a knee, front of a shin, sorry. And then this area is going to have some white highlights later on as well. So getting pretty close to finishing. There's just this shading area. Then there's a couple more things. Part of her arm needs doing as well, but that shouldn't take too long. Do need to add a little bit more detail to that part of the arm. Well, just where the sword is really. So yeah, this colour's not too different, I guess. And like I say, I don't really want to go in with another colour. Oh yeah, I do need to do part of the shade on her leg as well. But again, I'll probably do most of this in time lapse now, since it's running quite along, this video again. But say at least it's been a bit more focused on what I'm doing and just going through the whole colouring process, step at a time. It's enjoyable for me, although I did have some of these lines over here look a bit weird just because of where the camera is and not moving the page. It does make it kind of difficult to get some of the motion in the wrist, so that's a problem. But again, they're just kind of shading lines and stuff, so they don't need to be too precise and thought out and all that. So a lot of this area here is going to be white highlights, and a lot of there's quite a lot of area like under it that has white highlights, which again goes back to what I was saying about light sources not really being too realistic or too important for these kinds of characters, because this area here that I'm shading would be pretty much like completely you know, there'd be no light coming up whatsoever, and yet there's white highlights there. And I purposely left the area over here. It's kind of dried up now, but streaky a bit because of the way the lines are, and the fact that it's like material. It didn't need to be too what's the word, like too precise once again. So yeah, now we'll go over here and get some of the shading in. This might need multiple layers with this grey. But yeah, I'm getting some good use out of this grey. I thought I was going to have to be switching over quite a lot, but it does seem to go down pretty light and then get quite dark as you go over it, so that's good. Like I said, I find this method works, and also ends up giving you a better finished product when you go in layer by layer. And again, with these, I'm not being too precise with my shading. I may go in with a slightly darker grey later on, we'll see. And up to about, I think it's about here, there's kind of like a divide where the shadow kind of stops, and it's a lot lighter over there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to using the gouache. That should make the drawing stand out quite a bit. And I haven't used it before. I've kind of like tested it a little bit on some scraps, so I know what I'm doing and what it looks like and all that jazz. But yeah, I haven't actually used it on a drawing yet. Alright, I think I'll do the rest of this in time lapse because it's just pretty repetitive. Alright, so as you can see, I've kind of gone through a lot of the shading there. I realised just this area here, where between like the kind of the rest of the cloak and the leg, that area needs to be shaded in as well, so I've done that. Now I think I'm just going to do a little bit more shading on the leg here, and a bit on this lower back area. And then that's pretty much all the shading I need to do for down here. So I'll do that in time lapse, and then we'll be back for some more stuff on the arm and the upper body. Alright, so the shading is now done on the leg and on the skin and the bandages, all that stuff. So now I'm going to pull out this Sharpie. It's weird, the colour that comes out is kind of different to what it is on the lid. And she's got a couple of bits of like clothing that are this colour, and also the sheath of a sword's kind of like this colour as well, though a lot of it is in shadow, so it's black. So I'm gonna do these couple of bits now, since it's all kind of the same kind of like reddish purple colour. So really not too much more to go with this drawing, it's just kind of this area. Got this, like I said, this, whatever the hell this thing is. And then the highlights. The highlights shouldn't take too long. There's not a lot of them, but I don't know, some of them are a bit fine, so that might take a bit longer. But yeah, as I say, same colour up here. And then about half of it's covered in shadow. I find that with these pens, as you can see there, the felt kind of likes to come off them sometimes, and you want to get rid of that as soon as you can, because that can kind of like, it can fly off and, you know, go on another part of the page that you don't want it to go on, or it can end up like staying on the edge and just going all over the place in the area that you're doing it. So watch out for that. And as I said, the part of the scabbard or the sheath or whatever the hell it's called is purple as well. Although, like I said, I didn't like the way I've drawn it. It's kind of over at the side a little bit, so it's pretty much just this area here that needs it, and it needs it especially as well because there's a bit of hair there that's going to be black, and if you've got the black hair going in like the black sheath, that's going to be like kind of difficult for your eye to like focus on it and like tell different textures apart from each other. Alright, sorry about that. The card was full, sorry. So I had to go transfer stuff, delete all the footage off. But I guess it worked out alright because it started thundering and lightning and stuff, so that was quite loud. Anyway, you didn't miss much, I just filled in the rest of this bit and this bit. So next I think what I'll do is, actually I think first I'll just do a little bit of the shading here, because I completely forgot about this bit. It's just the same as those bandages over there. Most of this is grey, hints of white, quite dark down here, a little bit there, and then pull out another fine liner. I've just got like a load of pens off to the side here, so I'm trying to find things, and just a couple of folds and stuff. And there we go. So next I will do the I'm not even sure what it is, but it's these two white bits here are going to be blue, and yeah, this is a lighter blue, and then I'm going to go in with a darker blue for more folds and details and stuff like that, and that'll cover up part of this grey that kind of bled over. Sounds like my dogs are barking, probably at the thunder and stuff. I think I'll have to pull out the fine liner again for a bit of this. Let's say, getting pretty close to the end. I started doing a bit of the white gouache in a leg whilst I was waiting for the stuff to transfer over, just to see what it looked like on the actual drawing. And it's good. It's nice to to be able to go in with the colour and not have to worry about leaving areas uncoloured. Alright, so next I'm going to pull out this this ochre colour, Kukaku 153. It's kind of like a goldy colour, and I'm going to do this for the hilt, not the hilt, the guard of the sword, and also the pommel. And then I'm going to use the same red I did for a shirt for the hilt of the sword. And then there's a kind of design on the guard, but it's I'm not even really sure what it is. It's nothing really like you know, like Renji's sword or something where it was it's like lightning or something like that. It's some kind of, I have no idea what it is. But yeah, I'll do something. And like I said, it's going in with this, going in quite lightly with this because it's a bit paler on the cover than like a shirt is. So I think one layer should give me the right colour, and yeah, it does. Alright, so that's that. So I'm just gonna basically put down a load of lines randomly and just kind of shake my hand a bit and let that kind of do the work. I've already got the sort of edge of it down. It looks a bit weird, but like I said, the actual drawing, it doesn't really give you anything to really work with. And that's about that. So now, in time lapse, I'm going to finish up this this bandage ball thing. I have no idea what it is. And then we'll get in for the gouache, and that should be done. And that's about the right colour for it. It's kind of like a dark orangey pink colour. It's weird. I don't have the exact colour for it, but that'll about do. I've just noticed as well that I haven't actually coloured in her irises yet, and they're a kind of light green colour, so I'm going to grab that now and do that. So I've put the green colour on now. I went in with a lighter green and went over it with a darker green. And with a lot of these anime characters, manga characters, the top part of the eye is normally black. This seems to be especially the case with female characters, I've noticed. So the pupil is kind of joining in with this like shaded area up here. Like I say, it's not something you would see on an actual person, but it works for these characters. And that is about it for the colouring. So let's say we'll get into the gouache now, if I can find my paintbrush. Alright, so I've got my gouache ready here, and there's a highlight here that I sort of started, but I didn't really go in too much detail in it. Need a bit more on there, I think. There we go, that's better. So this is the first time that I'm actually using this stuff, so it's not going to be perfect. Probably should have practiced a bit more. That's about right. Maybe just a tad more. It's on the brush, but it doesn't seem to want to come off the brush. Yeah, it's about right. I think she's got a little bit on like a lower lip as well, just about there. Yeah. And then this area over here is quite a large area of it. I could probably use a thicker brush for this area, but I'll stick with the thin one for more precision, I guess. Oh, we're getting there. So the paint's on there, just doesn't seem to want to come off. Might be to do with my brushes as well being a bit dry. But I'm no expert with painting now. Used to be very bad at it at school, so I never really tried getting any better at it. So, oh, well, that worked. I was just seeing if it was drying quickly or not. So what have we got next? There's some highlights here, just some small ones on the collarbone area. There's a little bit of one here, probably a bit too white, that one, but whatever. And then some here, some more smaller ones. One there, and one there. And then we got some over here. It looks a little bit weird on the skin, but on the clothing it should look a bit better. Should look a bit better once the whole thing's done, really. That's how I always find these drawings go. Got a thin highlight over here. Actually a little bit of stuff up here as well to kind of break up this grey bit. So there's a bit on on her lower back about there, and then there's some on these folds here. Alright, so that leg's about done. I'll probably need to go over it a little bit more in some areas. This bit here is a little bit so I was going to say thin, but it's like a bit transparent. Yeah, it looks like I'll definitely have to brush up on my gouache application, pun intended. Because it's a little bit uneven. So well, I think might need to sort my brushes out a bit more next time. And there's another bit on the kneecap here. And then I'll just move the paper up slightly. There's some actually on the underside of her leg, which like I was saying earlier, the lighting doesn't really make sense, because this should be completely in shadow. Alright, so I skipped through a bit of the gouache stuff there just to save you all having to watch that because it was kind of boring. Touched up a couple of things as well. Sort of like the hair, a little bit of the skin, stuff like that. This could do with a little bit more. But I won't make you sit through with that. So yeah, what I'll do now is I'll scan in the picture and let you see it like it is on the computer, because it's kind of difficult to see it properly with the way that the camera's set up. This is about as best I can do to get the whole image in, and you can see some of the materials that I've used in the source material. So yeah, like I say, I'll scan that in now and leave any text or anything, links or anything I can think of. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. We finally got there. I know it took a while. I do apologise for that. And hopefully the next one I'll have out sooner rather than later. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.